Shiba Inu creators are hard at work again. As an added bonus, they are serious. Nearly $548 trillion is on the verge of collapse. The whales are moving really quickly. A major revelation was made. With this most recent upgrade, the $1 is now possible, but only in one specific case. This changes the game. But what is happening and why am I so elated? Allow me to elaborate. To wealthy coins, a warm welcome. You get a serving of Shiba every day. For all your Shiba-related questions, this is the place to be. Subscribe if you want to know what's happening in the cryptocurrency market and get the most up-to-date news predictions. Make sure you hit the like button to get more SHIBA news. The Shiba Inu community is reeling from some disturbing news. The lead developer of Shiba Inu, Satoshi Kusama, has disappeared from social media once again. His most recent tweet was over 2 weeks ago. Nothing has happened since then, not even updates, recommendations or engagement. You may remember this from a prior instance if you've been around for a while. Fairly mediocre. The price of Shiba Inus dropped significantly. Rapidly things start to get irregular. Curiosity waned among individuals. It appeared like all the momentum was vanishing, and investors were furious. Many were irate, saying the developers weren't putting enough effort and were just letting things happen naturally. Nevertheless, Satoshi unexpectedly went online again. As soon as he did, the mood shifted dramatically. The area was once again illuminated. Hope returned. Many speculated that the programmers might be hard at work behind the scenes, as if maybe a big development was on the horizon. But we're back where we started right now. It appears like another absence is even worse this time. There is growing unease among investors. The locals are asking, what the fuck is going on? Once more, are we not to glean some information from them? Will this be the beginning of yet another trying time? On March 28, Satoshi Kusama finally broke his silence that had lasted for over a month with a tweet. At that point, the mysterious Shiba Inu leader had the Shiba Inu community buzzing with inquiries and wild speculation about what he might be up to. Lucy, the project's head of marketing, and the rest of the Shiba Inu team quickly intervened to assuage the neighborhood's fears following that post. Kusama, they said, had vanished for no apparent reason. While he was hard at work, he purposefully grew a habitat for Shiba Inus. When Kusama returned, he didn't only publish a short update. Everything he owned went into it. In 2 lengthy posts on X, he detailed his activities while away. The focus, however, was not solely on progress. Astrology, God, and an extreme form of spiritual quest were some of the topics he covered. According to him, a one-of-a-kind cosmic activation had come to fruition. The scene was ripped out of a science fiction movie rather than a crypto update. The question at hand, then, is what is happening right now? Is he once again looking into realms beyond code and cryptocurrency? On the other hand, is he secretly involved in determining the fate of Shiba Inus? When this happens, things start to become interesting. Beginning in March, members of the team repeatedly brought up their upcoming Layer 3 solution. Built on top of the existing Shibarium network, this is a huge step forward. Why isn't it even more fascinating? The groundwork for this L3 layer was laid nearly a year ago. Simultaneously, Kusama rose to prominence and raised $12 million from illustrious investment firms to fund their growth. What we know so far suggests that this Layer 3 network has grand plans, including the use of the Treat token to make transactions faster and cheaper while also protecting consumers' personal information. Getting something of this magnitude done would necessitate a substantial investment of time, effort, and focus. There are a lot of people in the area, so they're wondering if the sudden silence means something. Kusama could be leading the Shiba Inu team to this next-gen solution, or he could be deep in thought, returning with additional cryptic details at his leisure. Regardless, with everything going on in the background, Shiba Inu's timing is absolutely off. Now Shiba Inu is getting close to a significant level of resistance, which might actually test the bull's resilience. There is a verge of conviction due to the under-pressured market. Let me get to the point. The on-chain data tell a story that is hard to miss. At this time, there are more than 548 trillion Shiba Inu in circulation. It's a staggering amount. Roughly speaking, more than 88% of Shiba Inu owners are sitting on a loss. Let down is the right word. There is a lot of pressure dragging the community down. However, Shiba Inus seem to be holding their own. It is showing remarkable resilience and refusing to fall the way some expected. However, real pressure is present. Although Shiba Inu might take another tumble if they can't break through this barrier, accomplishing so would alter the market's perspective. It is for this reason that the developers' sudden silence is puzzling. At this very moment, the last thing our project requires is silence. Everyone wants to know the truth. Taking charge of anything that shows the staff is still fully involved. There is no need for extended absences and enigmatic tweets in this context. In order to remind everyone of why they believe in this initiative, we need an extensive update, something real and substantial. First and foremost, being silent is risky. There's more at stake than simply being disagreeable. Currently, the Shiba Inu price chart is showing a small but steady increasing trend. Holding steady at the 14-yard zone, it is slowly making its way toward the 13-yard obstacle. Despite how insignificant it appears at first glance, taking a step back and looking at the big picture makes it all important. Reason being, a Shiba Inu with a worth of over $866 trillion would fetch over $10 billion at the current market price. So many of the holders are idling away in the water, hoping for the best. One could argue that these wallets are practically pleading for a breakout, which would allow them to finally begin limiting their losses. It gets considerably more interesting at this point. Big money and whales are in motion. According to a report in U Today, massive holder inflow has increased by almost 192% in the past 30 days, according to data on both incoming and outgoing funds. Thus, Shiba Inu are being engulfed by whales. Hoarding is the usual explanation for their behavior. At this point, the prevailing assumption is that the devs might be about to unveil a significant update. Maybe this stillness is more than a passing, it's the arrangement. Since they are aware that the price of Shiba Inus is at a critical juncture, they may be prepared to provide a major enhancement that might push the breed over the edge. When you give it some thought, you'll see that the price is right there. Many people are opposed and the atmosphere in the area is hostile. If developers are serious about proving that Shiba Inus still exist and are worthy of faith, they should use this opportunity. Maybe their silence isn't due to laziness but rather to their careful preparations to unleash something that might send Shiba Inu prices soaring. The whales too may be cognizant of this. Maybe they've seen this pattern before. After all, they were prepared for the previous time an unexpected visitor brought momentum and updates, so they're probably just waiting to make their move before the rest of the market does. Given the current state of affairs, developers are left with little choice but to move on due to the overwhelming demand. It appears that the Wise Cash has already made a decision on it. And if you dig even further into the data, particularly the information you shared today, the signs point even more directly towards something big bubbling beneath the surface. Despite a 192% increase in substantial holder inflows, the more significant change is the 71% decrease in outflows. Wow, that's a significant drop. Because whales aren't venturing far from their feeding grounds, they can cling to existing stations or even move to new ones. Their miraculous settling in is more impressive than their racing. In most cases, this kind of behavior indicates self-assurance. Despite the realization that just around 10% of Shiba Inu holders are currently profitable,